Who else but the gross materialists will neglect such transcendental thought and take to the non-permanent names only, seeing the mass of people falling in the river of suffering as a consequence of occurring the result of their own work. Who else but, what is the meaning of this? Who else but the gross materialists? Only a gross materialist they take up to these non-permanent names. And what is the meaning of non-permanent names? Mute your phone. Yeah. Non-permanent names. They see people suffering. They see people suffering. They see that they are falling down, but still they're only interested in non-permanent names. They sometimes glorify themselves only. That is non-permanent, isn't it?
This non-permanent means demigods or anything else?
Wait. Non-permanent names. Let us start from the gross. Gross. Oh, my family is going to protect me. मेरे चाचा हैं. They are all, see, whatever you have faith, you may have faith in a person. You like to always quote his example that he is the one who is going to do everything. He is the one who is the savior, non-permanent. Slowly, that extends to, oh, worship this demigod, worship that demigod. Again, they are also not permanent. They are also servants of Lord only. You respect them, but they are also not permanent. Oh, Shanivar, chalo, let us go. Let us go and worship particular devata. To such extent, people they chant Hanuman Chalisa, but they neglect the teachings of Hanuman Chalisa. Hanuman Chalisa says you chant Ram's name. Yes, you should chant one time Hanuman Chalisa. Everybody should chant, not that go on chanting Hanuman Chalisa just because Hanumanji, you remove all my kleshas. That's good. But then what is his teaching? That you chant Ram's name. That is more important. Chanting the holy name has been emphasized by all gurus. Hanumanji comes as Guru in Guru Tattva. Lord Shiva comes in Guru Tattva. People chant Lord Shiva's name. Lord Shiva says, I am in the Guru Tattva. Whatever Guru says, we have to obey. And what Lord Shiva says, chant Krishna's name. So people forget. And what they do, just because they want some sensory things, they just are engaged in what? Chanting non-permanent names. And the highest snare of material energy is they start chanting their own names. मैंने ये किया, मैं भगवान हूँ. बोलो हिरण्यकश्यपु ही भगवान है. You saw that Hiranyakashipu story, that movie. So that is a snare of devotional of material energy, where a person calls himself God and he wants everybody to chant his only name. So here, who else but the God Pathless will neglect such? Who else can do this? Only a gross materialistic people can only see others suffering.
But here
They don't have patience.
the transcendental thought means fixing the mind on the Supreme Personality of God and worshipping the God, no?
Yes. Yes. When you say transcendental, I immediately understand which you are saying, where it is. Where is the transcendental?
First line of translation, who else but the gross materialist will neglect such transcendental thought?
Yeah. So there is a verse in Bhagavatam, 10th canto, 1st chapter, 4th verse. निवृत्तदर्शैर्भगीयमाना भवौ सदा श्रोत्रमनोभिरामान् का उत्तम श्लोक गुणानुवादात् पुमान् विरचेत विना पशुक्नात्. Very nice sloka. निवृत्तकर्षैरुपगीयमाना. Nivrutta, when he becomes Nivrutta, Tarshair, Tarshair means it is opposite of Krishna is Trishna. Trishna means hankering for material things. When a person is completely done, he is He doesn't want it. Nivrutta is Nivrutta, Tarshed. Upagiyamana. What is doing? Upa means Lord. Giyamanat means singing the glories of Lord. Nivrutta Tarshed Upagiyamana. At that time, when he starts singing the glories of Lord, Bhava Aushadat, that becomes Bhava Aushadi. To cross this material ocean, this is the only solution. Bhava Aushadat. So, a gross materialistic person, when he takes up to sadhana bhakti, slowly, when he starts chanting the holy name, he becomes free from his materialistic tendency. That is how it becomes an aushadi. The holy name becomes a medicine to cure this disease. Bhava Aushadat. And then, even he is also chanting, even a pure devotee is also chanting. But what is the difference between materialistic people taking up sadhana and then slowly coming up? So, what is different between a sadhaka and a pure devotee? For a sadhaka, holy name is like a medicine. And how you take medicine? You take medicine. You don't take medicine with a nice smiling face. But though he has to take medicine, he takes it. He's not liking it, but he takes it. But for a pure devotee, chanting of the holy name is a pleasurable work. He's experiencing the bliss. Bhava Aushada Shrotra Manobhiramat. Mana Abhiramat. He enjoys Manobhiramat. But then Ka Uttama Shloka Gunanubhava Adar. Ka Uttama Shloka. It's so wonderful. But what happens? Uman Virajeta Vina Pashugna. Those who are killer of the self, those who want to commit suicide, they will not chant the holy name. That means they have lost the opportunity. Committing suicide means what? You got an opportunity, but you don't want to chant. You got an opportunity to be in a human body and in human intelligence, but a person doesn't want to chant the holy name. So he is Pashugnath. He's termed as Pashugnath, the killer, the slaughterhouse, the killer of an animal. He's termed as a killer of an animal. Similar is this verse.
Mataji, this Bhagavatam shloka which you just referred to and explained, what is the number of shloka?
10th canto, first chapter. I think it is fourth verse. Just see that. 10th canto, first chapter. Nivritta Tarshai Upagiyamana.
Okay.
So there also it is the same thing. Who will do like this? Who will go against the principle? A person who wants to kill himself. And here what is given? A person who is interested only in non-permanent names. Okay.
Mataji, it is 10.1.4. All
Ah,
glories to you.
I told you, 10.1.4.
All glories to you. You,
Why?
you also remember the number.
Always I quote now, that is why I remember. When you do a work again and again, you remember, isn't it? Okay. Aneja Prabhu, read word to word meaning also you should read.
Okay. Hare Krishna Mataji, pranam. तस्तां त्व अनात्रत्ये परानुचिन्तं ऋते पशूनसितं नाम कुर्यात् पश्यन् जनं पतिन्त्यं वैतर्णयां स्वकर्मजान् परितापन् जुषाणम्. Word to word meaning ka, who else, tam, usko, that, to, but, anadrya, by neglecting, para, para anuchintam, transcendental thoughts, rite, without, pashun, the materialistic, esteem, in the non-permanent, naam, name, kuryat, will adopt, pashyan, seeing definitely, janam, the general mass of people, patitam, fallen, vaitaranyam, in Vaitarni, the river of suffering, swa karmajan, produced from one's own work, paritapan, paritapan, suffering, Yushanam, being overtaken by. Translation and purpose by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. Who else but the gross materialists will neglect such transcendental thought and take to the non-permanent names only, seeing the mass of people fallen in the river of suffering as the consequence of accruing the result of their own work. purpose. In the Vedas, it is said that persons who are attached to demigods to the exclusion of the Supreme Personality of Godhead are like the animals who follow the herdsmen even though they are taken to the slaughterhouse. The materialists, like animals, also do not know how they are being misdirected by neglecting the transcendental thought of the Supreme Person. No one can remain vacant of thought. It is said that an idle brain is a devil's workshop because a person who cannot think in the right way must think of something which may bring about disaster. The materialists are always worshipping some minor demigods, although this is condemned in Bhagavad Gita 7.20. As long as a person is illusioned by material gains, he petitions the respective demigods to draw some particular benefit, which is after all illusory and non-permanent. The enlightened transcendentalist is not captivated by such illusory things. Therefore, he is always absorbed in the transcendental thought of Supreme in different stages of realization, namely Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagwan. In the previous verse, it is suggested that one should think of the super soul, which is one step higher than the impersonal thought of Brahman, as it was suggested in the case of contemplating the Virata Rupa of the personality of Godhead. Intelligent persons who can see properly may look into the general conditions of the living entities who are wandering in the cycle of 8.4 million species of life, as well as in different classes of human beings. It is said that there is an everlasting belt of water called the river Vaitarni at the entrance of the plutonic planet of Yamaraj, who punishes sinners in different manners. After being subjected to such sufferings, a sinner is awarded a particular species of life according to his deeds in the past. Such living entities as are punished by Yamaraj are seen in different varieties of conditioned life. Some of them are in heaven and some of them are in hell. Some of them are brahmanas and some of them are misers. But no one is happy in this material world, and all of them are either class 1, A, B, or C prisoners suffering because of their own deeds. The Lord is impartial to all circumstances of the sufferings of the living entities, but to one who takes shelter at his lotus feet, the Lord gives proper protection and he takes such a living entity back home, back to himself. Hare.
Okay, next. केचित् स्वदेहान्तर केचित् स्वदेहान्तर्हृदयावकाशे प्रादेशमात्रं पुरुषं वसन्तम् हरि बोल प्रादेशमात्रं पुरुषं वसन्तं चतुर्भुजं कञ्जरताङ्गशङ्क गदाधरं धारणया स्मरन्ति केचित् others swadehantah within the body hridaya avakashe in the regions of the heart pradesha matram measuring only 8 inches purusham the personality of God vasantam silent chaturbhujam with 4 hands kanja lotus rathanga wheel of chariot shanka conscious gadadharam and with a club in the hand dharanaya conceiving in that way smaranti do meditate upon him others conceive of the personality of God residing within the body in the region of the heart and measuring only 8 inches with 4 hands, carrying a lotus, a wheel of a chariot, a conch shell, and a club, respectively. So here it is given that beyond gross materialists are the yogis. These yogis, they can experience Lord within their heart. That is why Sat is at the level of Jnani, Sat and Chit is at the level of Yogi, experiencing. Sat means eternity, Brahman realization, a Jnani experiences, Yogi experiences Sat and Chit realization, and a Bhakta experiences Sat, Chit and Anand realization. You are the devotees who have celebrated Janmashtami, working hard, uh, and feeding Lord, making bhogas every day they do, especially festivals when it comes. What is that experience? That bliss is experienced, isn't it? Everybody experiences bliss when you serve Krishna personally. That bliss is not experienced by these two categories, Jnanis and Yogis. Bliss is only experienced when you serve a person, understanding that he is a person. So, personal relationship is understood for a bhakta. For a yogi, he is within the heart, he is trying to meditate upon. And slowly, slowly, he comes to the stage of bhakta. Now, what is this topic? Is this chapter is Lord in the heart, understanding that Lord is a super soul. For a bhakta, he knows all these things. He knows the Lord is there in the heart also. Lord is present everywhere also as Brahman. All three realizations happen. Satchit, Ananda realization. Vimla, read.
Hare Krishna Mataji. केचित् स्वदेहान्तहृदयावकाशो प्रादेशमात्रं पुरुषं वसन्तं चतुर्भुजं कंशदाहर्षं शङ्ग गदाधरं धारणया स्मरन्ति. Translation: Others conceive of the personality of Godhead residing within the body in the region of the heart and measuring only 8 inches, with 4 hands, carrying a lotus, a wheel of chariot, a conch shell, and a club, respectively. Purport: The all pervading personality of Godhead resides as Paramatma in the heart of each and every living entity. The measurement of the localized personality of Godhead is estimated to expand from the ring finger to the end of the thumb, more or less 8 inches. The form of the Lord described in this verse with distribution of different symbols, beginning from the lower right hand up and down to the lower left hand with lotus, wheel of a chariot, conch shell, and club, respectively, is called Janardhan, or the plenary portion of the Lord who controls the general mass. There are many other forms of the Lord with varied situations of the symbols of lotus, conch shell, etc., and they are differently known as Purushottam, Achyut, Narsingh, Trivikram, Trivikram, Rishikesh, Keshav, Madhav, Aniruddha, Pradyumna, Shankarshan, Sridhar, Vasudev, Damodar, Janardhan, Narayan, Hari, Padmanabh, Vaman, Madhusudan, Govind, Krishna, Vishnumurti, Adhokshas, and Upendra. These 24 forms of the localized personality of Godhead are worshipped in different parts of the plenary system, and in each system, there is an incarnation of the Lord having a different Vaikuntha planet in the spiritual sky, which is called the Parvyom. There are many other hundreds and scores of different forms of the Lord, and each and every one of them has a particular planet in the spiritual sky, of which this material sky is only a fragmental offshoot. The Lord exists as Purush, or the male enjoyer, although there is no comparing him to any male form in the material world. But all such forms are Advait, non different from one another, and each of them is eternally young. The young Lord with 4 hands is nicely decorated as described below. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Okay. Next verse. The young Lord with 4 hands is nicely decorated as described below. Prasanna Bhaktram Nalinaya Tekshanam Kadamba Kinjalka Pishanga Vasasam Lasan Maharatna Hiranyamayangam Spuran Maharatna Kirita Kundalam. So now a perfect yogi is one who can see Lord within the heart. At the level in the beginning, the yogi wants to meditate. So he starts trying to meditate on the form. It's not so easy that Lord reveals like a sadhakas. Even they are also doing sadhana. So there are beginners even in the Ashtanga Yoga. At that time they may meditate on the impersonal, on the created imaginary, you can say an imaginary Paramatma. But when that yogi reaches at highest level, yogi is who yoginam api sarvesham madgaterantaratmana shabdavan bhajate yomaham same yukta tamamataha. Yoginam api sarvesham, who is the topmost of all the yogis. Madgaderantaratmana, he is seeing me. Because even to know who is Paramatma, how does he look? Who is that Paramatma? How does he look? How a person can understand? That yogi should get blessings of devotee. Till he is not blessed with the devotee or association of devotee is not there. Till that time, it is not so easy to understand the beautiful form of Krishna. Now he is seeing the form. Now just see, Krishna says the revelation of the form happens to the topmost of the yogi. So what he can see? He can see this beautiful face of Lord. Vaktram. The mouth is so wonderful. Nalina ayataha. Eyes are so beautiful. Ikshanam. Kadamba kanjalka pishanga vatsanam. Like a saffron flower, his garments are yellow saffron flower garments. Lasat Maharatna. So this Maharatna is hanging from his ears. Beautiful. Hiranmaya, they are all made of gold. Angadam. So like this, beautiful form, like when Lord appeared in the womb of Devaki, at that time it said, from the heart of Vasudev, Lord is transferred to the heart of Devaki. And that is time Lord reveals his form. The revelation of the form can happen only by Krishna's mercy. You cannot imagine the form. That is why initially it's an imaginary Paramatma. Afterwards, imaginary Paramatma is trying to focus. He doesn't know where to focus. He's trying hard. But then that yogi attains the perfection only when he comes in contact with a devotee. And he is trying to yoginam api sarvesham. It means what? He will focus on Krishna. Initially, they focus on many things, thinking that he is Paramatma, he is Paramatma. Understanding Krishna is only Paramatma, Upadrashtanu Mantacha Bharta Bhokta Maheshwara Paramatmeti Chapyukto Dehesmin Purusha Para. I am only that Paramatma, Krishna says very clearly. So focusing on the form of Krishna is very important. And for that, Krishna's mercy is very much important. And before Krishna's mercy, it is devotee's mercy. That is how the yogi starts focusing on the beautiful form of Krishna. Krishna reveals. Unnindra योगेश्वरास्थापितपादपल्लवम् श्रीलक्षणं कौस्तुभरत्नकन्दरम् अम्लान लक्ष्म्या वनमालयाचितम्. Then he can even meditate on his lotus feet, which are placed over the holes of the lotus-like hearts of great mystics. He is able to see Lord's lotus feet, which is placed on the lotus flower. And this is there in the hearts of all the mystics. On his chest is a Kaustuba jewel, that also you can see, engraved with a beautiful calf. Kaustuba jewel has beautiful calf. How many of us were knowing this? We know that he has a Kaustuba money, but it has a beautiful calf. And there are other jewels on his shoulders. His complete torso is garlanded with fresh flowers. He looks so beautiful. To know that Paramatma has a beautiful form, which Parikshit Maharaj saw in the womb. He saw in the womb a thumb-like form, but that form has a beautiful form, beautiful Swarupa. In the same way, just 8 inches, thumb-like 8 inches. That is, that personality is there in our heart. I don't know how 8 inches. Inches are big, na? My thumb is not 8 inches.
No, not the thumb, Mataji. From the thumb, end of the thumb to the end of the ring finger. If you stretch your hand, if you stretch your arm like this, then this is approximately 8 inches.
But Prabhuji, how will it fit in the heart?
No,
Heart is too
Are
small.
Prabhuji,
you talking on a gross level? 1 minute.
no,
Vasantani Prabhu, are you talking on a gross level? That heart,
Mataji, 8 inches is gross level only, na?
8 minute.
When we say 8 inches, it is gross
1 minute.
level.
No, 1 minute. Heart, when the soul is only not there in the region of the heart, the soul is there in the spiritual region of the heart.
Yeah, correct.
So then how Lord can be in that gross heart? Inches can be measured, okay. But in the spiritual region, Lord wants to reveal only that much only. 8 inches form only. He cannot show his Aghada Rupa. Your
But that
Lord,
that means the spiritual region of the heart is bigger than the heart.
spiritual region of the heart is beyond Prabhu. How can you speak about the gross heart? How can you compare only? Spiritual region of the heart is beyond 2 dimensions. It is 64 dimensions. What is our heart? A small chota sa one gola, which is
Correct.
sometimes transferred also. When you have not studied Bhagavad Gita properly, I think. There is in the second chapter where very clearly in the purport Prabhupada says that the spirit soul is present in the spiritual region of the heart. That means it is beyond and which is immeasurable. Which is immeasurable. What is gross heart? When the body is dead, the gross heart is also dead. So that means soul is dead? No. The soul is present where? In the spiritual region of the heart where it emanates consciousness. Very clearly, second chapter speaks about Kutastaha. Speaks about it. You see the verse number. Wait, I'll give you verse number. Where the Bhagavad Gita you see from 11th verse to 30th verse. There is in the purport the size of the soul. Balagra Shatabhagasya. If you cut the tip of the hair into 100 parts and then cut it into again 100 parts, 1/10,000 part of the tip of the hair is the size of the soul. So are you going to do that? That means to make it understand, it is inconceivable. We cannot even understand the size of the soul. Even to say Lord is 8 cubic or whatever, 8 inches, that is also actually wrong. That is, you are perceiving in that form. Much only. When I meditate, naturally I cannot meditate on a huge form. You meditate on a smaller form. This much form you are meditating. To make us understand. But is the Lord's size restricted to 8 inches? And if Lord wants to show Virata Rupa, what will he do then? So to make us understand, this is given. So a yogi, he meditates on this form. Like in your temple, the vigrahas are not more than 3 or 4 feet, or 3 or 4, what you call it? Feet, na? Feet. 3 feet, 4 feet. You cannot keep 100 feet. Ka? How will you worship? So worship is done according to our capacity. Like Gadadhar Pandit, he was becoming old. If you go to Tota Gopinath in Jagannath Puri, and there Gadadhar Pandit is to stand and worship the deities. He became old. So Lord then he thought of appointing another pujari to worship the deities. They were standing deities. Now you cannot have a huge deities to worship. You will have deities to your capacity only. You can stand and worship. So now this person is not able to stand now. Old, na? Old. So he was thinking of appointing another pujari, but Lord did not want to accept anybody's service. He only wanted Gadadhar's service. He sat down, you know that? A sitting form of Krishna. He sat down to accept. Okay, you are not able to climb that much. You are not able to reach me out that much. I will sit down. So Lord can sit also. He is accepting our services. Simple. Like that, he is accepting the meditation. Understood? Next. Vibhushitam Mekhala Yanguliyakai Mahadanairna Mahadanairna Danair Nupura Kankanadibihi Snigdhamala Kunchita Neelakuntalair Virochamanana Hasapeshalam. So he is meditating on that well decorated waist. How is this waist? With ornaments. Actually, in our movement, we put artificial ornaments. Because Prabhupada said, don't put gold and all. You can have it in the festivals, you can put. And every day, if you put, some thief will come and take and go. Because ours is a preaching movement. Sometimes Pujari also has to go out to preach. In those times, it was happening. Only one Pujari taking care of everything. You can have gold ornaments. And now see, Anguli, he wears rings. Now you will say, my small deities, how will I put ring? Huge deities, big deities in the temples, they put rings. Mahadhanai, they are all very highly valuable. Then Nupura, what is Nupura? Ringing leglets. They are also ringing. Huh? And then Kankana, Adi Vihi, bangles also. Yes. Snigdha, Amala, Akunchita, Neela, Kuntalaihi. How is his hairs? Yes, Snigdha. Snigdha means very soft, spotless, curling, and bluish hairs. Sometimes when they do drama or dance, they try to decorate themselves. But this type of bluish they cannot do only. They try to do it. Vimochamana, Anana, Hasapeshalam. So beautiful face. And how it is always pleasing face. You are not seeing Krishna with a frowning face. We have all types of face, frowning face, crying face, this face, that face, horrible face. But Krishna's face is how? Always pleasing face. Isn't it? And then, until here, more I'll read one verse. And then all this Narayana will read. Sit and read all. Adina Leela Hasite Kshanolasa Rubhanga Samshuti Samshuchita Bhuri Anugraham Iksheta Chintamayam Enam Ishwaram Yaman Mano Dharanaya Vatishtate. Adina, his leelas are magnanimous. Leela Adina. Hasita Ikshana, smiling eyes. Ulasatta Brubhanga. With his eyebrows, he shows signals. Samshuti, he indicates. Bhuri Anugraham. This way he gives prediction. Iksheta Chintayam Mayam. So one must concentrate on Chintamayam, transcendental. Enam, this particular Ishwaram Yavata Manaha Dharanaya. So one has to concentrate with Avatishtate. One has to fix his mind on him who has a beautiful transcendental form. Okay. So read.
Yes, Mataji. Yeah, Mataji. I'm starting from verse number 9. प्रसन्नवक्त्रं नलिनायते क्षणं किञ्चनल्कपिशङ्गवाससं लसन्महारत्नहिरण्यमयाङ्गदं स्फुरन्महारत्नकिरीटकुण्डलम्. Prasanna expresses happiness. Bhaktram, mouth. Nalina ayata spreads like the petals of a lotus. Ikshanam, eyes. Kadamba, kadamba flower. Kinjalka, saffron. Pishanga, yellow. Vasasam, garments. Lasat, hanging. Maharatna, valuable jewels. Hiranmaya, made of gold. Angadam, ornaments. Spurat, glowing. Maharatnam, valuable jewels. Kirita, headdress. Kundalam, earrings. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. His mouth expresses his happiness. His eyes spread like the petals of a lotus, and his garments, yellowish like the saffron of a kadamba flower, are bedecked with valuable jewels. His ornaments are all made of gold, set with jewels, and he wears a glowing headdress and earrings. Unnidra Pankaj Karnikalaye Yogeshwaraस्थापितपादपल्लवम् श्रीलक्षणं कौस्तुभरत्नकन्धरम् अम्लानलक्ष्म्या वनमालयाचितम्. Synonyms: Unnidra, blooming; Rit, heart; Pankaja, lotus flower; Karnika alaye, on the surface of the whole; Yoga Ishvara, the great mystics; Asthapita, placed; Padapallavam, lotus feet; Shri, the goddess of fortune or a beautiful calf; Lakshanam, marked in that way; Kaustubha, the Kaustubha jewel; Ratna, other jewels; Kandharam, on the shoulder; Amlana, quite fresh; Lakshmya, beauty; Vanamalaya, by a flower garland; Achitam, spread over. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation: his lotus feet are placed over the holes of the lotus-like hearts of great mystics. On his chest is the Kaustubha jewel engraved with a beautiful calf, and there are other jewels on his shoulders. His complete torso is garlanded with fresh flowers. Purport: the ornaments, flowers, clothing, and all the other decorations on the transcendental body of the Supreme Personality of Godhead are identical with the body of the Lord. None of them are made of material ingredients. Otherwise, there would be no chance of their decorating the body of the Lord. As such, in the Paravyoma, spiritual varieties are also distinguished from the material variegatedness. Vibhushitam मेखलयाङ्गुलीयकैर् महाधनैर्नूपुरकङ्कणादिभिः स्निग्धामलाकुञ्चितनीलकुन्तलै विरोचमानाननहासपेशलम्. Synonyms: Vibhushitam, well decorated; Mekhalaya, with an ornamental wreath around the waist; Angulikai, Anguliyakai, by the finger rings; Mahadhanai, all highly valuable; Nupura, ringing leglets; Kankana Adibihi, also by bangles; Snigdha, slick; Amala, spotless; Akunchita, curling; Neela, bluish; Kuntalai, hair; Virochamana, very pleasing; Anana, face; Hasa, smile; Peshalam, beautiful. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. He is well decorated with an ornamental wreath around his waist and rings studded with valuable jewels on his fingers. His leglets, his bangles, his oiled hair curling with a bluish tint, and his beautiful smiling face are all very pleasing. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is the most beautiful person amongst all others. And Srila Shukadev Goswami describes every part of his transcendental beauty, one after the another, in order to teach the impersonalist that the personality of Godhead is not an imagination by the devotee for facility of worship, but it is the Supreme Person in fact and figure. The impersonal feature of the Absolute Truth is but his radiation, as the sun's rays are but radiations from the sun. Adinalidahasite kshanolасad भ्रभङ् भ्रूभङ्गसंसूचितभूर्यनुग्रहम् ईक्षेत चिन्तामयमेनमीश्वरम् यावन्मनोधारणयावतिष्ठते.
You can read
Synonyms:
directly translation. Read directly translation. Because I read that word to word. Read directly translation and
Translation
purport.
and purport. Translation and purport. Srila Prabhupada. Translation: The Lord's magnanimous pastimes and the glowing glancing of his smiling face are all indications of his extensive benedictions. One must therefore concentrate on this transcendental form of the Lord as long as the mind can be fixed on him by meditation. In Bhagavad Gita 12.5, it is said that the impersonalist undergoes a series of difficult programs on account of his impersonal meditation. But the devotee, due to the Lord's personal service, progresses very easily. Impersonal meditation is therefore a source of suffering for the impersonalist. Here, the devotee has an advantage over the impersonalist philosopher. The impersonalist is doubtful about the personal feature of the Lord, and therefore he always tries to meditate upon something which is not objective. For this reason, there is an authentic statement in the Bhagavatam regarding the positive concentration of the mind on the factual form of the Lord. The process of meditation recommended herein is Bhakti Yoga, or the process of devotional service after one is liberated from the material conditions. Jnana Yoga is the process of liberation from the material conditions. After one is liberated from the conditions of the material existence, that is, when one is nivritta, as previously stated herein, or when one is freed from all material necessities, one becomes qualified to discharge the process of Bhakti Yoga. Therefore, Bhakti Yoga includes Jnana Yoga. In other words, the process of pure devotional service simultaneously serves the purpose of Jnana Yoga because liberation from material condition is automatically achieved by the gradual development of pure devotional service. These effects of Bhakti Yoga are called Anartha Nivritti. Things which are artificially acquired gradually disappear along with the process of Bhakti Yoga. Meditation on the lotus feet of the personality of Godhead, the first processional step, must show its effect by Anartha Nivritti. The grossest type of anartha which binds the conditioned soul in material existence is sex desire. And this sex desire gradually develops in the union of the male and female. When the male and female are united, the sex desire is further aggravated by the accumulation of buildings, children, friends, relatives, and wealth. When all these are acquired, the conditioned soul becomes overwhelmed by such entanglements, and the false sense of egoism or the sense of myself and mine becomes prominent, and the sex desire expands to various political, social, altruistic, philanthropic, and many other unwanted engagements, resembling the foam of the sea waves, which become very prominent at one time and at the next moment vanishes as quickly as a cloud in the sky. The conditioned soul is encircled by such products as well as products of sex desire, and therefore Bhakti Yoga leads to gradual evaporation of the sex desire, which is summarized in three headings, namely profit, adoration, and distinction. All conditioned souls are mad after these different kinds of sex desire, and one shall see for himself how much he has been freed from such material hankerings based primarily on the sex desire. As a person feels his hunger satisfied after eating each morsel of foodstuff, he must similarly be able to see the degree of a degree to which he has been freed from sex desire. The sex desire is diminished along with its various forms by the process of bhakti yoga, because bhakti yoga automatically, by the grace of the Lord, effectively results in knowledge and renunciation, even if the devotee is not materially very well educated. Knowledge means knowing things as they are, and if by deliberation it is found that there are things which are not at all unnecessary, which are at all unnecessary, naturally, the person who has acquired knowledge leaves aside such unwanted things. When the conditioned soul finds by culture of knowledge that material necessities are unwanted things, he becomes detached from such unwanted things. This stage of knowledge is called vairagya, or detachment from unwanted things. We have previously discussed that the transcendentalist is required to be self sufficient and should not beg from the rich, blind persons to fulfill the bare necessities of life. Shukadev Goswami has suggested some alternatives for the bare necessities of life, namely the problem of eating, sleeping, and shelter. But he has not suggested any alternative for sex satisfaction. One who has the sex desire still with him should not at all try to accept the renounced order of life. For one who has not attained to this stage, there is no question of a renounced order of life. So, by the gradual process of devotional service under the guidance of a proper spiritual master and following the principles of the Bhagavatam, one must be able at least to control the gross sex desire before one accepts the renounced order of life factually. So, purification means getting free gradually from sex desire, and this is attained by meditation on the person of the Lord, as described herein, beginning from the feet. One should not try to go upwards artificially without seeing for himself how much he has been released from the sex desire. The smiling face of the Lord is the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, and there are many upstarts who at once try to begin with the 10th canto, and especially with the five chapters which delineate the Rasa Leela of the Lord. This is certainly improper. By such improper study or hearing of Bhagavatam, the material opportunists have played havoc by indulgence in sex life in the name of Bhagavatam. This vilification of Bhagavatam is rendered by the acts of the so called devotees. One should be free from all kinds of sex desire before he tries to make a show of recital of Bhagavatam. Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakura clearly defines the import of purification as cessation from sex indulgence. He says, Yatha yatha dhis cha shuddhyati vishaya la lampatyam त्यजति तथा तथा धारयेद इति चित्त शुद्धि तार तारतम येनैव ध्यान तारत्यम uktam. And as one gets free from the intoxication of sex indulgence by purification of intelligence, one should step forward for the next meditation, or in the other words, the progress of meditation on the different limbs of the transcendental body of the Lord should be enhanced in proportion to the progress of purification of the heart. The conclusion is that those who are still entrapped by sex indulgence should never progress to meditation above the feet of the Lord. Therefore, recital of Srimad Bhagavatam by them should be restricted to the first and second cantos of the great literature. One must complete the purificatory process by assimilating the contents of the first nine cantos. Then one should be admitted into the realm of the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. The verse for the various limbs of the Lord with Bhagavatam is Padau Yadiyau Pratama Dvitiyau Tritiya Turyau Katitau Yadauru Nabhis Tatha Panchama Eva Shashtau Bhunjantaram Tor Yugalam Tathanyau Kanthasturajan Navamo Yadiyau मुखारविन्दं दशमं प्रफुल्लम् एकादशो यस्य ललाटपटकं क्षीरोऽपि यत्त्वा हृदयेषु भाति नमामि देवं करुणानिधानं तमालवर्णं सुहितावतारम् आपारसंसारसामुद्रसेतुं भजामहे भागवतं स्वरूपम्.
This is from Padma Puran. Ado yadiyo Pratama Dvitiyo, because the whole Bhagavatam is Krishna himself. One should learn this verse and put it in the group. Every day one should recite this verse. Ado yadiyo Pratama Dvitiyo Tritiya Turyo Katito Yaduru Nabhistata Panchameva Shashtho Bhunjantaram Dorivalam Tathanyam Kanthasthu Rajan Navamo Yadiyo Mukharvindam Dashamam Prafullam Ekadasho Yaschalalatapattam Shiropi Yatvardashi Prabhati Namami Devam Karunanitanam Kamalavam Sweetavataram Apar Samsara Samudra Setum Majamahe Bhagavata Swarupam. That's how one should recite. The shloka is Prabhupada gives this in this form, in the translation form. Okay. Over.
Yes, Mataji.
So we'll stop here.
Hmm.
Process of meditation has been given that one should start from the lotus feet. So for that, first one should know he's a person. No? That is why devotees are essential for yogis also, jnanis also. The yogi can attain a perfection. Baunam Jalmanam Ante Gyan Man Prapadyate. Jnanis. Vasudeva Sarvamiti Samatma Dullat. It takes thousands and thousands of lifetime to understand. And Vasudeva, who is present everywhere also, he is Vishuddha Sattvam Vasudeva Shabditam. He is that person. He is having Vishuddha Sattvam. He is completely beyond even the mode of goodness. Vishuddha Sattvam. He is that Shuddha Sattva, that Shuddha Tattva, which is beyond transcendental. Vasudeva also has a meaning. Sarvatra Vasati iti Vasudevaha. Sarvatra Vasati is present everywhere. Vasati iti Sarvatraha Vasudeva. Vasati iti Sarvatra. He is present in everyone's heart. Sarvam iti Vasati. So, one is Brahman, one is Paramatma. But he is that person. It takes thousands and thousands of lifetimes. He is that Krishna. Beautiful Krishna. Okay. So stop here. Join on Thursday. Panchakalpatarubhyascha Kripasindhubhyacha. Paditanam Pavnevi Vaishnavi. Vande ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki jai.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Narayan Damodar Prabhuji, please send that sloka in the group. Just now
Yes.
you chanted. Okay. So,
Yes,
Hare
Mataji.
Krishna.
Yes, Mataji.
Okay.
Okay.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.